If you wanted to start a war in 15th century Europe, you didn't just ask a king for permission, you asked a wool merchant from Florence for a loan. The Medici family proves a fascinating historical rule. You don't need to sit on the throne to rule the kingdom, you just need to own the debt of the man who sits on it. They had no royal blood, they commanded no armies, yet for 3 centuries they controlled the destiny of Europe. They invented modern banking, funded the Renaissance, and put their own children in the Vatican. This is not a story about corruption, this is a story about strategy. How did a simple family of merchants bypass the laws of God and man to build the greatest financial empire the world had ever seen? Let's look at the numbers. It began with a mathematical problem. In the Middle Ages, charging interest on loans was illegal. The church called it usury, and it was considered a mortal sin, punishable by eternity in hell. Basically, banking as we know it was impossible. But Giovanni de' Medici, the family patriarch, found a brilliant loophole. He realized that while charging interest was a sin, exchanging currency was a service. So the Medici invented the bill of exchange. It worked like this. A merchant would deposit gold in Florence and get a paper receipt. He could then travel to London and exchange that paper back for local currency. The trick was in the exchange rate. The Medici built a hidden commission into the conversion. It was interest disguised as a currency swap. The church was happy because technically no laws were broken, and the Medici, Giovanni's son, Cosimo, turned that money into pure power. He understood a rule that many modern billionaires forget. If you have too much money, people hate you. If they hate you, they kill you. So Cosimo invented soft power. He ruled Florence without holding official office. He famously said, "I am just a private citizen." Yet no decision in the city was made without his nod. To buy the people's love, he launched the greatest marketing campaign in history. He spent astronomical sums on art and architecture. He hired Donatello. He funded the completion of the massive Duomo Cathedral. This wasn't charity, it was branding. Every time a Florentine looked up at that dome, they thought of the Medici. Cosimo made his family synonymous with the glory of the city. He bought immortality with florins. But when you are at the top, you are a target. Rival families like the Pazzi despised the Medici as upstarts. On April 26, 1478, the cold financial war turned hot. The Pazzi, backed by the Pope, decided to decapitate the Medici's leadership. The attack happened inside the Florence Cathedral during Sunday Mass, a sacred place where no one expected violence. Giuliano de' Medici was stabbed 19 times and died on the floor. His brother, Lorenzo the Magnificent, was slashed in the neck but managed to barricade himself in the sacristy. The coup failed. The people of Florence, loyal to the Medici brand, rose up in fury. The revenge was instant. The conspirators were hanged from the windows of the government palace. Lorenzo survived, but he learned a lesson. Money cannot stop a knife. He needed absolute immunity. To secure the family forever, Lorenzo decided to capture the only power higher than kings, the church. The Medici Bank was already the Vatican's main lender. Popes were chronic spenders. They needed money for wars and cathedrals. The Medici managed the church's finances, taking a cut of every tithe collected across Europe. But Lorenzo went further. He decided that lending to the Pope wasn't enough. He needed to own the papacy. He used his vast fortune and influence to make his son, Giovanni, a cardinal at the age of 13. It was a long-term investment. And it paid off.
In 1513, that boy became Pope Leo X. The banker's son sat on the throne of St. Peter. The circle was complete. The family that started as sinful usurers now held the keys to heaven.
The Medici dynasty ruled for 3 centuries. They gave the world 4 popes and 2 queens of France. They funded the Renaissance and built the modern financial system. Eventually, their bank collapsed and the family line faded, but they left us the ultimate lesson of capitalism. Power isn't given. It is bought. It is ensured by art, and it is defended at any cost. They proved that a gold coin can be sharper than a sword, and in that sense, we are all still living in the world the Medici built.